Hi folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. And as I said in an earlier report, the trout fishing may be a little bit later this year in that the conditions are going to be harsher, colder, deeper, faster water, and it will take a time for the fishing to really pick up. But I think what's important is that I wanted to pass on one of my tips about trout fishing. Last year, I discovered a lure that helped me catch more trout than I've caught in years and years. And again, I never thought this thing would work. It's made by the Leland Company, and it's called a trout magnet. Now, what makes this thing so effective? I don't know. I doubted it, but it's a tiny little 1/64 ounce lure. It consists of a tiny little jig head, and it's shaped different than any jig head you've probably ever used. And on that, you put the magnet itself, which is a little 1-inch type of soft plastic. Looks just like a little worm, really, except it has a split tail at the end. You put this on, and then above it, there's even a little bobber, a little float that comes with this that you put up your line. Now, why do you do all this? Essentially, this is a very tiny bait. It has to float in the current like a tiny food source would, some kind of little worm or some kind of leech or something it looks like. But it has to float naturally. By having the float above it, it keeps it from going too deep. Now, I've sort of said that it's important in the early part of the season to go as deep and slow as you can. But this is sort of a moderate play on that. And if you do this right, oh my gosh, the number of trout it is truly a trout magnet. So I would suggest that you give this a look. Now, it comes in a number of colors. The color that worked best for me last year was a medium green and black. It was laminated, so it was part green and part black. And I don't mean chartreuse green, and I don't mean olive. It's actually like a forest leaf green. It's really something I've never used before, and yet they really preferred that color, with me fishing anyway, to all the other colors that I tried. But these come in a number of colors. I've noticed on the videos that explains how to fish this, and you can tap online and find the Leland Trout Magnet, and they'll show you how to fish it. But I've noticed that they use pink. They use a pink one in their description of the video to get you to buy them. But no matter what, this isn't a fluke. This isn't a fake. This is really an effective lure. They're tiny. You got to use very light line, and you've got to use a light rod and reel to use that light line, because you got to be able to cast it out. But I promise you, this gives you another alternative try. When I was fishing it, I had people around me using live worms and minnows, and I was getting far more strikes. And that didn't make sense to me, but believe me, I enjoyed it, and I caught a ton of fish using this lure. Give it a try this year. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.